Now let's get into this guy. He's kind of a caricature. Let's see, where's my photo? There he is. Okay, and let's just do a value study. So I'll get in a little bit closer on this. That's really close. Okay. So in general, what happened here? Sorry. His head is leaning, to the right a little bit. I'm gonna show you, to the left a little bit, excuse me. Or maybe his right. You know what I mean? This way. So what you might want to do is just draw yourself a quick little line telling yourself about the direction of his, and that can help. Just to get that area, maybe you don't want him that big, or maybe you do. Make a few of those decisions. Maybe we'll just go over these quick proportions really quick. Now, you can't really see the top of his head, but we could say that, from like about where the glasses are, which is where his eyebrows are, it's about, let's say, this high to the hat and maybe this high to the top of the hat. Just go around making little references. And then if you look at his face, it really does it kind of really, it's a long egg, really pointy at the chin. And of course, let's see, I need to cut off a little bit off this side and add a little bit on this side, right? Because he's showing more on this side. All right. As far as the value study goes, we don't really need all that. So there's about his nose. Halfway in between there and there is the mouth. I got this. Ears. Now, if you look at the ears, they're lower than the eye line. This one over here is about there, though, huh? We'll just put him about there, and then this one's honestly, a little lower. So those are just some things to think about. Whoops. Probably should have brought his ear in here a little bit further, since I chopped off his head there. And then look how high his shoulders are. I mean, if you take the flowers, they come all the way up here. And then the shoulder comes off over there. I don't really have enough room in this to include his hand. Now, you don't have to include his hand if you don't want to, But if you do, maybe just mass it in like that, and then maybe adjust your frame. Maybe the composition's more this way. This is what we do. This is why we do these. Could even go into his hat a little bit. So maybe his hat comes up to there, crop in. I don't know. Or give him a little breathing room. Let's see. Okay, something like that. No sense of putting a lot of detail in there or this, but we do have some glasses. We'll just kind of they're basically very much like the eye sockets are. So if you can think of the glasses sort of the same shape as when I put in like the eye sockets, I tend to just put them in like that. That's good enough. Because we're just doing a value sketch here. And I'm just going to use Prussian blue or any dark color that you have so you can get light with it. All right, and we've got all this shadow over here. Shadow on the side of the nose. Shadow under the nose being cast over to this side. The top lip is mostly in shadow. Couple of interesting shadows inside there. One onto the, and I guess it goes on the hat too. And all this in the hat. A little bit in there. All this. That's just one tone. And basically just trying to understand the planes of the face. There's a little bit of something in there. Underneath there. Oh, and we're going to have to get darker under there. Side of the hand. Got this. And maybe in the background, yeah, I want to put a very light tone in the background. Here we go. And then we'll come back and hit some of these shadows a little darker so they pop away from the background a little bit more. Let's get something nice and dark and hit it up under here. It doesn't matter if it leaks out into the rest of the shadow there. And his glasses are quite dark, quite dark. Maybe that was too, I didn't wait long enough, so it's kind of bleeding out. So maybe I'll let it, corners of the mouth. Definitely get something dark down there. Something down there. couple little darks in the hand, but they start to bring things out. You know, I'm adding a little bit more water so this gets, see, because we want this out here to be a little darker in the shadow. This whole shadow's darker. So I just go over it twice. And a little bit. I'll come back and blast these darks again. You know, because even this shirt is actually not really white or anything. So we need some sort of tone over the shirt. Now the arm is relatively lighter than the shirt. So come back and lighten that up a little bit. Yeah. Right, so I'm going to very light over the lights, just avoiding some highlights. Really no highlights on the hand, but it's very light. And I would say that this is all a bit darker. And our flowers are just kind of a few choppy values in there. At this point, I think I need to glaze this shadow down a little bit darker again. There we go. See, just wanted it to be a little bit more in contrast with the light side. And sometimes I'll hit it again. Yeah. And really come back now and blast out some of these darks. They're dark. Hit them nice and dark. His eye, the rims. Nice dark under there. You see how it's always underneath things? So often you'll get like under this flowers here. The lay, is that what it's called? A little dark in there. I like this, but I wish the background was a little different. I think I'm gonna make it a little more contrasty on the light side. Just so I can get a little more punch out of this. Maybe even more. And I think what I'll do here is on the shadow side, come back into his contour and hit those a little dark. And then with a little water, just gradate them in like that. And see what that looks like. Is that working? Kind of works. All right, I don't think it works enough though. So I'm gonna go in another direction. And this is what I do. This is why I do these. I think I want to go nice and dark on the, even on the shadow side, because they're really not that dark as shadows. So I just want him to pop out. And you could go with a white background too. That might be nice. Maybe we'll do that on the color and see how we like that. Well, that's kind of neat. So, all right. Let's try a color one. Now that I know my placement, it took a lot of contouring the frame on the last one just to get the placement, and you know, that's fine. That's why we do them. You don't want to do that on the finish. But so what I might do is just sort of lightly draw in about how big I want the head and where I want it placed. Not just the head. I'm incorporating the hat into that too. I'm just looking for this sort of mask like this. I see the, okay, like this, and we got the hand over here, and all right. So in other words, his head would only be this big. I just tend to just mass everything. So then I go for that shape of the head again, and he's really got quite a triangle of a shape of the head. Just kind of comes down like that. Like, I'll just notice. I mean, if his cap's there, then his eyes are, I mean, it's just the rim of his glasses are there. His eyes are down here. Which means I think I need to add more, huh? Woo. Whoops. Well, it's just a, we'll definitely work on the proportions more on the finish. So right, if the nose is there and the mouth is there, and he's got quite a long chin. All right. Remember those flowers are all the way up there. And the shoulders are way up. Trying to get this right here. Yeah, about that low. And I like this little negative shape under the arm there. I don't know if it's all that necessary, but maybe I'll lower that a little bit more. And they make a difference. They do. Placement. I don't know if I need that coming all the way out, but we'll see. We'll play with that. Okay. Color. I guess you could draw in your glasses too if you like. Yeah, just think of the glasses like, you know, what could help you with the glasses is just going to go like this first, all the way across, and then figure out about how far you want them apart. Take that down, get your basic shape going, and then give it some curve. That kind of curves there. You don't believe you don't have to be as nuts about them as you think. Well, I will say, if you get nuts, if you make them like, if you're having a problem with the glasses and you make it into this big issue, it'll be a big issue. Hey, that's the way things are in art. And then the viewer goes, wow, this person must have had a really big issue with these, you know, and you're like, dang it, I hated those glasses. On the other hand, if you just treat it like, okay, it's an interesting shape, just like any other shape, it won't be a problem. And that's the way things are in almost everything. I don't know why that is, but I notice that when I get hung up on an area, it usually just becomes a big deal. And I've done that enough to know now that I usually just quit the painting or take the area out and redo it. Really simple. Okay. So this time, in the background, I know we have this sort of greenish gray, I guess. You could do any sort of colors you want in the background. I'm just, oh, actually, you know, we were thinking about leaving it white, huh? Or, you know what you could do is do something very light like this. I love, in a white background, having just very, very light things. So instead of just white, just a few little things. I'm just putting red, yellows, and blues. Very light, though. If you see your paint really pooling up right next to the body, just blot it a little bit, because you know your color will go seeping out into the background if you don't, and that might not be a bad thing either. Okay, we've got this sort of greenish gray shirt. So I'm making a green out of Prussian blue and cad yellow. Then I would add a little bit of cad red. So you're making the green with the Prussian blue and the cad yellow. Then you need to gray it with some red. Oh. We could have got more close up in there, huh? Just make sure to tell me, everyone, if you want me to get more close up into things, or because I'm not always looking at the at exactly what you're looking at. You know, if you want to put some designs on a shirt, go ahead. You know, just but I wouldn't get too carried away with them. You know, these Hawaiian shirts. My father-in-law was born in Hawaii, so at his funeral, we all wore Hawaiian stuff, and we kept it really lighthearted because he was, and we wore all kinds of Hawaiian stuff. All right, so there's some of that green in there. I'm just going to use maybe a gray or green in that. Or whatever color you like. And you don't have to just copy what you see. We could come into that green too and enhance it. You know, maybe throw some other colors into it. Throw a little blue in there. Maybe a little bit of Prussian. Keep it a little more active. Of course, you can put any colors you want in the flowers. Just start them off with some bright colors. I really don't care if they leak into the other colors because that's not really the focal point. So you might want to break out your fun colors in this area. If you have any of that quinacridone yellow or the turquoise or opera. This is just magenta. I'm just gonna let them just bleed right into each other. Maybe something more violet. Let them bleed into each other. Well, he sure does have a loud green underneath it all. This one under here is kind of a lot of yellow in it. So that's kind of a fun area, just to party colors, you know? Maybe some just pure, straight up ultramarine blue in there. Sap it a little bit. I mean, it looks like his shirt and the this all is going to be a lot of work. I would keep it very loose so it doesn't really detract from the face too much. Unless you want that, you know, I mean, I love all the different interpretations we get in here, so fine with me. Maybe a little bit of red in that. Just breaking up that. You know, I would keep it a little bit greener next to his hand. Because if you get these warm colors like I just put right next to his hand, they just sort of blend right in. So I'll just keep it in the greener family there. There's some sort of shadow on the wall. We'll see if we need it.
Is this the final one?
No, I'm just doing the color comp.
Oh, thank you.
Nope. Okay. So let's come up with a kind of a skin tone here. Test. Maybe a little more yellow in that. Red, yellow, and blue. Cad red, cad yellow, ultramarine blue. That's not bad. You know, I think in this instance, let's just put it over the whole face like that. And the arms, hands. A little of that cool came up into his face. And just come up with yourself like a khaki color for the hat. Khaki is just red, yellow, and blue again. Take green and mix it in with red. How's that? That's what that looks like. Oh, dark. I'll just add some water to it. Just taking some off with my brush. Right? Just dry your brush and just whoosh, take it off. Okay. Now let's see about some shadows on him. So I'm going to get that skin tone. Again, red, yellow, blue, cad red, cad yellow, ultramarine blue. And it looks, there's definitely some heat in that shadow. So I want to make sure it's warm enough. Just added some orange to it, or red and yellow, shall I say. I like that maybe a little bit better. All right, so all the shadow side of the nose. There's some shadow inside the glasses. Inside the hand. Cigar is pretty dark. I know it's kind of a reddy brown too, but I think I'm gonna go with a different kind of brown because I just wanted to separate from the hand a little bit more. Just about done here. Let's pop in some darks. Good darks around there. Darks in the glasses. Darks in his eyes. Corners of the mouth. Something down there. Couple little wrinkles. Maybe a little bit warmer in the cheeks, nose. That's really warm. Man, I look at the camera and I go, God, that is nothing like what I'm painting. I'm heating it up, but it's not like pure right out of the tube. Just putting a little bit of light stuff over the lights. A little warm, a little bit on the warm side. I kept some of that pink in it. Here too, I'll just take down some of these lights. Well, I like the light background. I wouldn't mind a little more color in it, but I like sort of a party kind of thing. Like, I'm just gonna put in some lighter colors in here. Sort of a little Prussian, a little bit of, just gonna keep it kind of we're at a gathering. This guy's a stockbroker. Yeah, right now you want to put your money in. You avoid Bitcoin. It's not a good idea. But really. All right. So we could start it off light and then just play with color. It's a good place to just like party colors. I know it needs a little bit of yellow. All right. Love it.
That looks magnificent already.
Hey, we're finished. All right. See you guys, see you guys next time. Hey. Magnifical. We'll handle this nice and loose today. You'd be surprised with people like this guy who has these really distinct features. It still looks like them, and you'd be surprised how kind of crazy you can get with the paint. Okay. Now I think I'm going to do this, or let me retape this. Excuse me. Sorry about that sound. I know it's probably loud on your end. Oh, did anyone want me to put that back? I know I tend to tear them away really quick. For a photograph or something?
Yes, please.
I know. Sorry, let me make this smaller so you can get it in there. Whoops, right there.
I'd love a picture of your original drawing, Rob. It was really wonderful.
Oh, thanks. Sure. You guys got that?
Yes.
No,
Okay.
not yet. Hang on, one more.
Hang on.
One more second.
It's just like for
Got it.
family photos, right?
Got it. Thank you.
It's just like family photos. One more second. Come on, wait, one more second. Oh. I know I kind of made his nose a little round. I sort of made up his nose. I should have looked at him more. I like him with a rounder nose. And I thought his hand was kind of quirky and funny. All right, are we ready? Did you guys
That's
get
a
that?
fantastic drawing.
Thank you. Yeah, I love pen and ink, you know. It's fun.
Yeah.
I do them a lot. I really like the Sharpie or the thing I like about them is that how do you say it? It's so immediate. So you can be really deliberate. So that's, okay, I'm gonna paste it about here. And then zoom in a little bit more. Okay. That's pretty good. All right, let me draw nice and dark. I think there was something else, wasn't there? Oh, this thing. Okay. Just zoomed in on it and then it flashed back on me. There we go. Okay. That wasn't easy. Okay. I got my little comps over there. So, you know, this is usually what I'll do is I'll just kind of eyeball things. Let me make sure. So I can see what you're seeing. All right. That kind of gives me an idea, like a ballpark idea. How, let's see if this comes into about there. And head as you can see, it's quite pointy, and I think that's too large. Whoops. Whoops. All right. Back to the old. So that's why I generally just sort of mass it. Let's see. See, I just did a contour. This is a really good technique on just on how to place it. Now, my problem here is that his head's going to turn out so small. And that's just. I think it was okay before. Yeah. And here's the other thing. I oftentimes redraw my things so many times, and it's not because I don't like the drawing or anything. Sometimes it's just the way it's placed. So.
It's possible to move his hand and cigar closer in. It doesn't have to be hanging out there.
Yeah.
So he can be a bigger head and shoulders and just move the cigar.
I can.
Off of his shirt, because it's a
You can, and then almost always that doesn't work. Just so you know. Because I've tried it so many times. You move the arm in, and it looks like they're kind of going like this. It looks weird. Okay, let's see. Let's try it again. I'm just going to go for his head being that big, his shoulders being about that big, his hand being around that big, and that's good with me. I think that's good. So there was a good way to do it. Now I can really get that hat on there. That. Probably way too high. Probably shouldn't put that on so early. So there's the direction of the line of the face. Okay. And let's just say the eyes are about there. So the eyebrows are there. So that's about where the glasses are. And then halfway in between there and there, about the nose. Remember, it's the eyebrow and the chin. And then halfway in between there and there is the bottom of the lips. And wow, he's got such a distance from the bottom of his lips all the way to the chin. So we have to elongate that a little bit. That's kind of how it goes. You know, he does not fit the classical proportions of most people's face, which makes it a lot of fun to draw. And so I'll put in the proportions, and then I'll make distortions and have fun with it. So I'm going to say about there, where I want his hat to be. Yeah. By the way, be really careful when you're on a human. When you're changing proportions, or like, let's say, moving a hand or a leg or whatever, even people who really know quite a bit have problems doing that. It's tough. I remember one of my old teachers used to say, just if you're gonna make a change like that, take new photos. You will be sorry if you don't.
You're scaring us.
No. and now it depends on how loose you are. If you're pretty loose, like Charlotte, it doesn't matter as much. But for people that are, wanting it to really feel right in the photo and everything, it can be tough. It can be tough. I mean, I was training actually to be a movie poster artist at the time, so it was really accurate, like ridiculous. So anyway, all right, let's throw in here again. Just take this eyebrow line like that. Okay, we've already got the line there, and I've got this thing twisted on you a little bit. Should be a little bit more like that. And then dip it down here in the center. Boy, I hate it when I tape this thing down, right? And then the tape just keeps sticking to my arm. Stop it. Okay. And then I'm going to say, okay, I'll say his glasses are around here. So let's take it around. Same over here. Now this one goes all the way to the edge. So we know his face has got to come in slightly on this side. Or I can make his glasses bigger. I think I'll make his glasses bigger too. I like that. You can definitely blow things out of whack here a little bit. I mean, a little bit. I think they actually just were bigger. Gonna go around there, and then he's got this sort of thing on the side. Nose, pretty narrow. Maybe not that narrow. He comes down, up, and then and talk about that cartilage, right? Remember how it comes in, pinches, and then comes out? Wow. You can have a blast with that. His lips are way down here. I wasn't even low enough. I'm probably a little wide. That's okay. And then he's got his lower lip kind of tucked under his top lip, so we got to go way down here for that little. And if I were really pushing this caricature, I would have brought it even further down. Look at the corners of his mouth, really. That's what I'm always talking about. He's got a little scruff on the edge there. Like a big Hollywood movie producer. So if you look at where his eyes are, yeah, this ear kind of lines up with the eye. And this one's a little lower than the eye. We'll just take it down there a little bit. Maybe there's a little more air than that over on this side. Right around here, that shirt. Button. Over that way, etc. A couple of interesting lines in his face here. Guys, I think I need to make his glasses a little bit bigger. Oh well. Like that better. All right. Remember the little Y shape in his ear, like that? Looks like a Y. Y? I don't know. There we go. Like that. And then, okay, we've got the flowers. All kinds. And you can get as nuts about those flowers as you want. They kind of hang straight down over here. I guess that green thing is what brings them together. Crazy designs all over his shirt, and I wouldn't even get. The way I would handle this is just not get too carried away. It's really easy to get into this pineapple, and then there's the day. A lot of stuff up in here. In here it's just chaos. Guess there's a pocket in there. And then we got this hand. Maybe there's this little pinky. And there's his thumb. I'll just kind of lay him in like that first. And you've got this finger coming straight at us. Treat them like cylinders. Like that, like a big cylinder going back in space. Especially the way we're going to handle this, it's not going to have a lot of detail into it, so. Sometimes I'll include a little bit of a fingernail in there like that sometimes. Oh, I could have got even bigger with those glasses. Gosh. Every time I look at them, I go, well, they're not big enough, Rob. You got to make him a superstar. I'll make those like the inside of the rim. Yeah, I'll just add to the outside there. Okay. So glasses aren't the easiest thing. Glasses, teeth. You know what else gives me a problem? Like when someone wears a pattern on their suit. Watch, someday you'll see what I mean. If you ever do somebody in a suit and they will have a pattern on it, you feel like saying, you know, could you get this picture redone and take it without a pattern on the suit? Or just let me do it without the pattern on the suit. I'll leave it out, okay? Because my gosh, you end up putting so much time into the pattern on the suit. Depending on how realistic you want it, you know. Okay, so we got the eyes. You got this little crease in there, and then you got the eye. His eyes really slant to the outside, so give him a kind of a like that. This all goes into shadow. The other one too, it really kind of like slants out, which is a lot of fun. There's that crease. Yeah, now the shadows that are around the eyes can get kind of complicated. Sometimes when they're like that, I just figure it out with the brush. Because drawing all those lines can get really complicated. But if you want, I'll just explain to you what's happening here. Let me zoom in here because think it's worth it. Okay. Remember the light's coming from the left. So this is going to cast a shadow on into the eye, and then it goes, there's that, it kind of comes down the lower lid, and there's little forms on the face, little. Oh, that really comes down. That. This is why I usually just paint it in. I mean, it's drawing all these lines can be a problem, but like that. So that's just this lens being compressed and following the shapes and forms of the face. Then remember, we got a round ball here, so the things that are going off to the right are going to all be in shadow. So that kind of, all this is going to be in shadow in here. That picks up light. Now this one, you've got the bridge of the nose casting the shadow onto the eye. And probably the rim of the glasses too, yeah. And then just that, again, that rim of the glasses right across the eye. Down, see the little light on his cheek? You're gonna want to include that. See, I always put a hard line which symbolizes the cast shadow edge, and then a choppy line like this, symbolizing the form shadow edge. See, I do it everywhere. Cast shadow, form shadow. That's just my little language. It's not just mine. A lot of artists do that. And just tells me where I keep it soft and where I keep it hard. Like for instance, the nose. Oh yeah, you guys can see that. Okay, the nose. See how it's kind of hard and a hard edge right here, and then it goes into a soft edge here. Because the cast shadow, and then it turns into form shadow. The top lip, cast shadow. I'm sorry, yeah, cast shadow there. All this is a form shadow. And I know that can get complicated. I know. It's something you're going to have to practice. Couple little shadows in here. Remember too is neck will cast a shadow. And all that goes into shadow. There's lights and shadows hitting in here too. I'm not going to get too specific. We really could though. Oh, you can't even see that. Let me zoom out. I'm a Hollywood director. That's what I am. What do you guys think of Hollywood, huh? Get out of here. Transplant from New York. It's sunnier out here. Okay. Just throwing a couple other little designs down there. Let's paint. Let's get into it. Now I'm going to start off the background real light. You know what I like to do is just throw in some water first. You know what I think we should do? Well, yeah, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. I'm going to do this a little differently. Let's water this thing down. Okay? I'm going to spray it everywhere, over the whole thing. You can spray it. If you don't have a sprayer, just use a big brush. If you got a Henry brush, like this one, this is good. We're just spreading, see how even. What about you know, your other brush will work. It's a little more convenient. And there's a good idea. You want to know what to practice? Use a big brush like this, and I would do it if maybe I should just have a class where we're just using a big brush, but you would believe how much detail you can get with a big brush by using the corners. It's really fast. Okay. What I think I do is just leave the background. I don't even know how to start this thing. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to go in with a little bit of, that's magenta. Doesn't it say I brought it right over the hat? It doesn't matter. This would be nice and loose. I want to keep this one loose for you guys. We'll end the term on a loose note. Maybe some a little Prussian. Let them swim into each other a little bit. Maybe a little magenta. Whoops. Must have picked up some Prussian blue there. Take a little of that, move over here. More Prussian. And you know, that's what I'm using. You can use whatever you like. It doesn't have to be exactly what I'm doing. And then I remember I add a little bit of yellow in there and kind of adds, see, just party colors. See that little leaking into the hand? It won't matter. Now let's just keep the same attitude with everything. Everything. So what I'm going to do right now, while it's damp, let's just go right into the face. I know I usually do everything else first, but I'll show you. The reason I'm doing this is because I'm trying to think of something stupid to say. Sometimes it's hard to think of something stupid to say. Because because you can. That's why. That's not too stupid. Okay. Just go over all the flesh with just one flesh color. Red, yellow, blue. It won't matter. Right? All the flesh. Maybe a little redder than that. Just go over everything. And here we'll warm them up in the cheeks a little bit, in the ear. That's a lot. So I won't need any more than that. I'm just going to move that around a little bit. He doesn't really have big highlights on his face. If you want, maybe it's a little lighter up here, but you'll be surprised how light this dries. Maybe something light on the tip of his nose might help. I'm just going to blot that off a little bit. That's fine. Let's do the same on his hand. Go right over that cigar because it's sort of similar. I guess the hand gets a little lighter on the palm. So just, I just blot it. Surely doesn't have to be perfect. And I pulled out a little right here. Just maybe too much. Add a little back in there. Now, does his face cool down any? You know what? I'm going to give him a little bit of cool in the beard area. Here's the nice thing about working wet into wet. It already mixes it for you. So, see, I'm just hitting these minor little cools in there. They're not really cool. It just helps with the skin tones. I'm not seeing a whole lot of cool in his hand. Typically, the hands are pretty warm. Isn't that a great way to lay things in? Well, I mean, it doesn't matter what. So we'll go into the hat. I'm going to make a khaki color. This time I want it to be a little bit bluer than what I had before. And I don't care if it just bleeds out into the background. It won't matter. See, I'm going to get this fuzzy edge. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Because that's just the first go around. We'll come back with shadows and things like that to shape it. Maybe I'll just pull a little of this right down into a shadow. I don't know. I'm going to go right into the shirt. Maybe with the funner green. Fun green. A little more saturated. See where if it bled right into the shirt, it doesn't matter because I just take the green right back over that. See? Doesn't matter. Now I'm not using a whole lot of water in this when I'm putting down the paint because it's already relatively wet. If you have it wet and then you put down a lot of water, you know, it'll just go out of control. So if things are getting a little out of control, just dry up your paint on your brush. If you'll notice, see, I kind of have to move it around like this a little bit because it's a bit dry. Not like dry brushing or anything, but it's drier than you might think. It gives me a little bit more control. That's all. That is almost dry brushing on the bottom. I wanted to keep it sort of greenish right next to his arm. So the arm would pop away. And I'll just keep this really no big deal. Let's lump in some of these colors of these crazy flowers. Anything you like in there. Got some yellows. I'm just gonna let it bleed right out into the shirt because I don't want a lot of detail in my shirt. Some yellows in there, some reds and oranges up here. Maybe I'll put this red, maybe magenta. Now let's see, if I get too crazy, that's gonna really leak into the face quite a bit. So I think I'm gonna back off. I don't mind if it leaks into the shirt, but I don't really want to make leaking into the face too much. If that gets too crazy, which I don't mind in the shadow too much, but if it gets, just use another brush. It's kind of a drier brush, and that just drank it up a little bit, see? I can still maintain my loose look without having extreme bleeding. Violets, ultramarine blue, magenta. It's kind of dark for this painting. Maybe some ultramarine blue. Any colors you like, really. It's nice to see a blue. That's pretty blue. Maybe some lemon yellow. I've got this nutsy green in here. Just Prussian blue and lemon. Like so. Kind of broken fuzzy edges. And I'll just poke little pieces of green through there. All right. There's just all kinds of funny, weird things happening on this shirt. Which, if you don't give them really hard edges, they won't really matter too much. When you get in really defining the edges, everybody's going, what is this, a palm tree? What's that supposed to be a, like it wasn't really supposed to be anything except a design. So what I'm doing is I'm rehydrating these areas a little bit just because I want the paint to flow. I know I'm seeing a lot of reds and things in those colors. It's just the craziest, loudest shirt in the world. Maybe some of that yellows and browns in there. Red, yellow, blue. I got green. That's all I was looking for, just some sort of fun design. But there's the wet into wet sort of lay-in, which I really, it's so nice just to get your colors out there. You can just start relating, you know, to them. And I like to get the thing covered and then I can see it. And I get a handle on it. And the wet into wet approach really gets you there quick. And you get all kinds of little slips and like really intuitive things that happen quickly. You want to loosen up a couple of these edges around the outside. Just add a little water. Maybe this too. I don't think that needs a really hard edge on it. I'm actually looking at looking up at the screen because that allows me to see it from far away, like really small. Not bad, not bad. I think I want to do something with the background though. Some of these shadows are kind of neat too, but I think it just want a few more colors back there. I'm gonna try some of this wild and crazy. A little bit of Prussian. It's a great time to get some of your fun colors out there. Hey, let's try my opera is kind of dried up. That sounds funny, doesn't it? How's your opera today? Oh, it's kind of dried up. Yeah. My country is not too good either. How's your rock and roll? Oh, not too bad. I'm going to try some ultramarine over here. I'm just changing the value a little bit, but I don't mind, just a little. Maybe some of that turquoise or something too, if you like. Yeah, I like this sort of green or blue around the hand. Just to show off the hand a little bit more. You put kind of a reddish color around a red hand, it doesn't really. And that's okay, but the hand's got a little personality to it too. There we go. Didn't know it was going to come out that way. A lot of little white things in there. But I think a lot of those will get lost in the shadows. Now this kind of bled up in the face. I don't even mind that. Sometimes you'll get little bleeds that are completely what you didn't expect. And you come back and look at it and you go, well, yeah, but it doesn't bug me. That's when I just leave it. I want to zoom in on that a little bit more. Here, I'll zoom in on the head. Let's get into some of those shadows on the head. And in the eyes and everything. So let's make up a shadow color for his face. if you look at the photograph, I think a really good basic shadow. See how the shadow gets really dark under here, and it gets really light over here, but it's all still part of the shadow. I would go for something in the middle, like right around that value or so. So again, I'm going to take the red, yellow, blue. Cad red, cad yellow, ultramarine blue. Maybe give it a test somewhere. And just like in the little painting I did, I'll come back into this bigger painting and I'm just going to take them all, like I just do all the shadows at once like this, just all at once. Go right over that glass, right over the ear. Inside the eye. A little highlight on the cheek. I mean, not a highlight, but a light. Nose, all this goes into shadow. Just all one big grouped shadow. And we could even take a little bit into this little cast shadow we drew over there. And we do get a little reflected light over here. And I think we get a lot of these oranges and things off the hand and whatever there. So I'm going to take some yellow and red while it's still a little damp. Let's see. This is going to be too bright. I'm just going to go for it. Whatever. Maybe a little bit of red in that too. Just to get some color in that shadow. Kind of orangey if you can see it. Maybe even a little bit of red in that. Oh, I got a little red. I don't mind a little red in the cheeks though. Just let it do its thing, you know? It gets a little darker up in here too. I'm gonna hit a little bit of violet. That's that's too dark. Ultramarine and magenta. I'm getting too fast. I'm going too fast. Sorry. A little bit of that there. Little halftones. Aren't those fun? There's the watercolor look, right? We'll let that set up a little bit. Anywhere else you can find a little shadow or something, like maybe in the ear. Might be nice. And here's a place, here's a shadow that you might not have thought of. Right under the eyelids. Like here. You can't really see it over the iris because it's dark. You don't see too much over here, but yeah. They make a big difference. We also have since we're doing skin tones, we might as well do the hand. I'd use pretty much the same colors, maybe a little bit redder in the shadows on the hand, but we get this whole big pocket of shadow in here. Just going right over that cigar. I'm just gonna make my cigar pretty dark. I can just come back with water and just soften this edge as it goes into the light. Just soften it. I'll come back later and hit some darks in there. You could hit them now, but well, let's see what happens if you hit them now. I'm gonna go for a violet in the dark. Ultramarine blue and a little bit of that looks good. All right. Ultramarine blue and magenta. It does look good in there. I'm gonna hit them. Nice and soft edged. Kind of comes back around there a little bit. Some of those little lines in there can be nice. Something on the side of the hand. And just let watercolor kind of do the rest. Can't you just hear the watercolor talking on the sidelines? It's going, I want in on this, man. You're having all the fun. Maybe you're hanging out with yourself too much, Rob. Pretty sure it's not talking to you. Okay. Get around that finger a little bit better. Good enough. A little bit darker on the cigar. I'll come back and hit a shadow on it later. Got those ashes. What color are ashes? I guess gray, huh? How boring is that? Blue ashes on my guy's cigar. That's it. I like those darks. Phew. Okay. Look at all these soft edges. Love it. I'm so glad I did the wet into wetland. We got to do that more. Maybe always. Really happy with that. Okay. I'm going to hit some shadow in the hat. I'm just going to try something because we can do anything in a hat, right? I'm going to try pure ultramarine blue and let's just see what happens. Let's just see. Sometimes when you put unusual color glazes on top of each other, just get some really fun stuff. You still see the other color from underneath it. Now I'm just going to take a soft edge. I'm just taking a little bit of water on that edge. Interesting. Why not? You know, I have a painting once where I just went like this in the hat. I just went. Why not? And who cares if it just leaks out of the background? It's just gonna work with these colors really nice. Sometimes I'll just draw back into it like that a little bit. A little dry brush. Just to kind of see what that does? Little accent lines, little right around there, just sort of, I just call them accent lines, but mostly I do them to like break up edges so they're not so hard. How's he doing? A little bit longer. We'll go to some shadows on the shirt. These are really basic. You don't have to be extremely detailed with these. Just think of like his arm here, right here. This is just a big cylinder. You know, like just a big cylinder. So most everything on this side is going to be in shadow. These flowers are casting a shadow to the right. We have a couple little cast shadows under our little collar and things like that. All right, so again, if you just use ultramarine blue over a lot of this, you certainly could use, watch, I'll use ultramarine blue with a little magenta in it. That's kind of my go-to shadow color. Certainly use other colors though, but that's got a lot of magenta in it, and I don't mind that at all. That looks nice. Just remember, you're going to see the other colors right through it. So it's not like you're just putting down blue and magenta. So I'll give it a little test run there. I like that. Okay, that looks good. Put that in there. We've got a little Maybe a little hook. Maybe I see a little sleeve there on the other side. All right, maybe a little something in there. And these are just some cast shadows. And then on the lei itself too here. Now if these get too hard edge for you, just come back with a little bit of water and soften some of those edges. They get pretty dark too, right next to them. So you could just pop a couple little darks in there, right next to it if you like. Again, just a damp brush. Every time I say that, I'm always thinking, damn brush. No, just put a damp brush. Did I just say something wrong? Like right under the collar there. A damp brush to soften edges. Yeah. Yeah, we've got another light source from the other side, and it's giving you some cast shadows in here. And these are really soft edges. I'm going to take this shadow all the way on this side of the collar because this color is bending up a little bit. So it's a light shadow. There's something there. I even put a button in there. I drew that in there. Maybe I'll come back later and hit a little button in there. It's kind of a hard edge though. Not sure I like that. I'll just work my shadow all the way up in there. Keep it soft edge. Just two. All right, this is just casting shadows all the way over here, and you're getting some in here under the little wrinkle of the shirt there. This is this cast shadow from the roses, flowers, onto the shirt. Maybe hit a couple darks in there. Oh boy. How fun. A good idea. I'm going to go back to his face here. Oh, by the way, another fun thing to do on the flowers, if you want more definition, is you could just take, and define a few with some lines if you like. Nothing wrong with that. So that's up to you. It's a lot of fun. Maybe I'll just define a few of them. Or just leave it really impressionistic. It doesn't matter. But it is a lot of fun. Hibiscus. Okay. What I was thinking of doing here is hitting a nice little shadow on the, this would be the dark, not the darkest, but a pretty dark shadow up there. I'm going to use ultramarine blue, cad red. Actually, ultramarine blue, magenta. I'm going to try that one. A little bit cooler. And a little cad yellow. See what that looks like up there. It gets much darker than that, but I just wanted some color in the shadow. And then it just blends out, gradates out into the rest of this. Some heat in that shadow. Probably because it's right next to this blue. Oh, I noticed they get a little orange in that reflected light in there. Couldn't see that. Be kind of fun to put that in. All right, so I noticed the shadow gets a little darker up in here because it's right next to the glasses that are casting it. You notice how the shadow gets lighter out here, right? Lighter and redder out here, but darker up in here. So just keeping a few of those little key points in mind. Now I'm hitting some, not my darkest darks, but darks around his eyes. Should I zoom in on that? What a blast. Okay. Some dark up there. You can get into some color in there too. I mean, you don't have to use brown. I mean, it is kind of brown, but you know, what would happen if you used ultramarine blue or something? Just blue in his face. That's crazy. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make his glasses ultramarine blue. And then maybe violet in the darks or something. Nutty. So I'll save my color for that. Yes. One more time. I couldn't hear you.
Why not opera?
Why not opera? Oh, my opera is kind of dried up. Let's see. Where is that little bit? Opera in the eyes?
The glasses.
Oh, because it's maybe not dark enough. Maybe I can get it dark. It's not really inherently a very dark color. I could mix it with blue though. Let's see. That's opera. I mean, why don't I just lay them in an opera and then hit the darks with some ultramarine blue and violet and stuff. We'll go nuts with it. Why not make it a party on our last day? For some of you. Okay. Whoa, that's fun. You asked for it, you got it. Anything else? Sorry, you can't have my social security number. But it won't be long before everybody starts asking for that, huh? Ooh, don't get me started with the privacy stuff. Crazy. Okay. Maybe there's a highlight right around there. You could just leave that. . 'Cause Look at that. That's fun. Right. Now, watch what. This is ultramarine blue. I'll hit it in the dark areas, which is sort of underneath. That was a little too much. Kind of. Just hitting some dark areas. Crazy glasses. Now his eyes look kind of brown and black. But you know, the rule in painting is that you, as long as your value is right, you can use any color you want. So why not any color I want? I'm gonna go with green. Like maybe his hazel eyes, brown. Some people have those amber eyes, which are really cool. Ooh, how about quinacridone yellow? If you don't have this, it's just take magenta and cad yellow with the just very like 1% of Prussian blue. And that'll almost be the same color. Let's see what this looks like. I'm caking it on there. I mean, I really got to, see, I got to beat it on the end there. So I'm just shaping the end of my, because it's so small. Does he have a highlight in his eye? Let's see. A little bit on one of them. Let me just add a touch of water. Let's see what this does. I mean, it's just too light, but it's awesome. I love the color. Probably have to give him some kind of highlight in there. I think the thing is to do it later. Neat color, but wrong value. And what happens a lot of times is that the top eyelid will cast a bit of a shadow over the top part, and it goes like that. Like that. And so I'll just leave it dark on the bottom. That's kind of cool. Maybe really go for a dark right under the eyelid. I've showed you this a couple of times, but I'll show you again. This is a great move. It always works for me. Just to come back with a good dark right under that eyelid. And in the corner of the eye. Sometimes over here, but not in this case, I don't think. Yeah, it doesn't get too dark over there, but you really need something dark in there, and then maybe a little touch in the corner of the eye. He's got some of those little sub values like that. And there. Maybe a little darker shadow under the eyelid right here. And here. I like that look on his face. His something a little dark in the nostrils. A little bit. Something in there. I just see him. I just happen to see that. I shouldn't be jumping all around, but that's how I usually paint. I usually jump all around when I paint. I don't work from section to section. I typically kind of work. I think in terms of you know, like when you're baking a cake and you mix it all up in one big batch, and then you put the icing on, you put it in big areas, then you work your way to smaller areas and smaller areas. That's the way I work here. Almost everything like that. Got a couple of sort of micro little values up in here. See, as this comes into the light, you'll get a little bit more of these little sub shadows. I just call them halftones. I have a whole lot of words I use. They do that. And as the light goes into shadow, you'll get a lot more of those little halftones. So you'll get them here. As they go into shadow and anywhere. And sometimes they get quite warm. That one's really warm. I really heated that one up. I don't hate that though. Gosh. It's weird when I do something kind of wrong and it works. That's why you just have to trust your own instincts rather than just going by facts. Like I want to warm his cheeks up, but I know they're not that warm, but I think that he just needs a little like that in his cheeks and his nose. And then I'm going to just lighten that up a little bit. Just adding water. Besides, we needed to get it pretty dark around the nose for that highlight to pop. And maybe it cools down here a little bit more. Maybe I want him to cool this area around the beard a little bit more than he actually is. Ultramarine blue. I'm mixing ultramarine blue and Prussian blue together. Whoa. I like it though. It's kind of got the spirit of the whole painting in there, which is sort of pushing things, you know? Give them a little 5 o'clock shadow. Why not? More interesting. Maybe a little bit more around here too. A little bit. Now I'm using just ultramarine blue in the beard area. And then I'm just gonna wet those edges and let it just fade on out. Touch of a halftone in there. Just because, you know, it goes up here and then down and then up here again. I left that dark pencil mark on his lip. Oh, whatever, we'll just leave it. I know he's got his bottom lip like tucked under his top lip. But you know what? I'm just going to paint it this way. And then with something a little bit darker under the top lip, like in this area. And then smack those corners. Just trying to soften edges. Get him in here real good. He gets quite a little pinch in the corner there, doesn't he? A little pinch. See, I told you the corners of the mouth, they make the piece. Hardly anybody knows that. A lot of portrait painters don't even know that. But I'll tell you what, cartoonists and caricature artists, they totally know this. Because a lot of portrait painters just paint what they see. They don't add much more to it. I mean, I'm guilty of that too, but I love caricature. This is sort of a blend. It's got realistic properties and caricature properties. Make it pretty dark in here, huh? Get that dark shadow going on in there. Maybe a little magenta. Smack the darks now. Is it 11:49, you guys? Wow. Nobody stopped me. I'm just going to hit a couple of darks in here, and that's why I looked at the clock, because I'm like, what time is it? Maybe I should have a class on caricatures. Okay. See what the darks? Oh, yes. I like doing it. I have bunches of sketchbooks on them. That's another thing I do. By the way, the caricatures will absolutely help you in your head studies. You know why? Because you have to exaggerate what you see. And because you're exaggerating what you see, you're seeing it in a sense, you're seeing it more. Because you're not just copying, you're really understanding it. You're going, wow, that guy's got a long, skinny nose. I'm going to make it really long and skinny. I'm not pulling any punches. I'm going to go for it. Because you hear me, even in these things all the time, I'm constantly exaggerating. And and things that aren't there. And so you can go like crazy in a caricature. Believe me, I could have. This is not what I would consider a caricature. It would be a lot more of a caricature than a normal head painting. But now I'm just gonna add a couple little effects. Watch, just see. Why do I do that? Just for style, you know? Just for style. Just kind of loosens up the edges, but it also adds a little bit of, you know, you've also seen me around edges too. I'll hit like some really saturated things that aren't there. Like cast shadow edges. Here's one that's begging for it. Watch this. I'm going to take lemon yellow, pure lemon yellow. Watch this. Right on this, see? Look what that does. It just pops a little bit of life into it. If you can even see it at all, it's very light. Maybe even.
Is that a simultaneous edge?
Yes.
Okay, I love that term. I learned that, Wednesday from you.
See, I'm hitting a little bit of orange in there too. Simultaneous contrast.
That's that Wayne Thiebaud move, right?
That's all he's doing is he's doing simultaneous. But if you look at your photograph, just take a good photograph and look at it really close, especially one that's high contrast, like maybe you took outside. Look at the edges of your cast shadows really close, and you'll see weird, colorful things happening along those lines. That's all he's doing. I mean, lots of artists do it. He certainly isn't the only one, but he's probably the most famous one. Okay. That was a blast. Sign it loud and sign it proud. Sign it right here, right? Yeah. Could have gotten some values in his ears a little bit too, huh? Well, that's a blast. Okay. That was fun. Party. It was a party. Let's see. Let's start turning them in if you haven't already. I think I see some on there. So let me change my little, turn off my HD. Got my list here. And then I got to turn my display settings. I got to turn them way down. Okay, whoops. Oh, whoops. I'm gonna screen share. That's big. Oh, Caroline. Is this Caroline? Caroline, are you here?
Yes.
Okay, there you are. Okay, wow. Okay, is this your son?
Yep.
Okay. Nice. No wonder you got in so early.
No, this I actually painted a long time ago. I mean, a couple of weeks ago. I'm painting my daughter now with you, but I'm not done with it yet.
Okay. Oh, nice, nice looking proportions. And look at your values, huh? Are you happy with that? I think you should be happy with your values.
I'm happy with this painting. I can't say
Yeah.
each part of it I'm happy. I'm just happy with it.
Good. It's a nice painting.
Thank you.
Let's see. Nice hair too, by the way.
Mhm.
It's not always the easiest thing to do.
No.
Like hair, like see his beard. I always think this is good. You're keeping it nice and soft edged around his beard. Maybe on the bottom of his beard as it goes into shadow. I keep that really, really soft.
Hmm.
Soft edge. But it's not bad the way it is, I have to say. Let's see. Looking at your photo. You left out the arm with the hand behind his head. No, I'm just joking. Because I can't think of anything to say. Okay, here's one thing. Look for the cools in his face. I'm seeing some cool down as it goes into the beard. Might be a good place to hit some, let's say, like a violet color. Maybe a little bit of violet around the eyes here and there, too. Those really usually help in making flesh tones. And I'm being really picky here because it's a nice painting the way it is. But if you came in with some little cools there and in there, I mean, these aren't the right colors, but so I think of a couple of cools around. Typically, cools will be around the eyes and around the beard of a man. So, because you have plenty of warmth.
Hmm.
Now that's the only suggestion I can really think. Wait, here's another one. I tend to add a little bit of cools to the white of the eyes. And, not say I don't have the right colors, but so I wouldn't go this cool. But I mean, some of the white of the eye just a little bit cooler.
Yeah, it looks like maybe I have not added the shadow of the eyelid to the
Yeah,
white.
look at it really hard though. It's because there's a flash, and the flash sometimes can destroy that little shadow. But I will put just a touch back in there. I can't even get this thing small enough to make it small, but very little. Maybe that could help. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you. Nice work.
Thanks.
Pamela. Oh, this is from last time?
Yes, Rob, it is.
Oh,
And I know that I haven't gone dark enough with the darks, but I liked the way it looked. And
know.
I needed a second opinion. Or I needed your opinion.
Look at this eye. Well, this eye is definitely more rendered than this eye. In other words, can you see that it looks, the light's coming in it and it's coming out the other side? Let's see. Let me zoom in on this a little bit more. So I could see you doing maybe a little bit more of that to this eye.
Okay.
So a touch of a highlight, maybe a little bit more. Whoops, I can't even get it right. Come on. Just a little bit more highlight up there, and then maybe a little bit more green or blue or whatever she has in her eye over there.
Okay.
So just
Oh, that helped a lot.
Yeah, just a little. Because I kind of messed your pupil up there, but anyway, I can't get it small enough. But anyway, yeah, just a little bit more rendering in this eye.
Okay.
It really looks like her. Wow. You really have a good way with planes. Look at that. Can you?
Oh, good.
You feel that side? I can really feel that, and then I can feel it coming up this side and over the top, down the other side with that reflected light right there. Good. I mean, your planes are fantastic.
You explained that really well last week, I think.
Oh, good. I mean, I think about it all the time, but yours are really well done. Now, are they a little bit orangey or bluey, or I'm not sure.
I have the painting.
Oh, I mean, in the photo, oftentimes what happens is that it'll turn a little bit orange down here as it faces downward. And then as your planes like up in the air face upward,
Okay.
it'll get a little bit bluer.
Oh. Okay.
These are obviously way too orange and way too blue, but see this cool you have on their face right there?
Yes.
That's what I mean. Just a little bit of cool like that in some of these areas.
Okay.
That'll give you a little more color and push that plane change a little bit more. This is a great, you see how you went blue here and then you went orange?
Yeah.
Relatively speaking, orangier there.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do you-
you should be happy with this one.
Do you think I need to make the darks darker? Because they are in the photo, they are darker.
The question is, do you want to? If I feel a little resistance, like you're like, I don't really want, I don't know, do you?
I think she looks more positive,
Yeah,
brighter, and I like that. She
and
looks
that's
like,
why you just leave it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I constantly do that. So I'll look at, and sometimes I get sucked into the photo and I'll look at it later and I go, man, I didn't want that like that. Why did I do that? You know?
Okay.
So you're better to listen to your instincts and just keep it light because it's got a nice light feeling to it, and I like that. So I
Okay.
think you're fine. Shadows are great. You got plenty of shadows. These, let's see, and she has a lot of lines in her, a lot of I mean, she has literally no fat on her, so
Yeah, I
you can
did
see
think
every tendon.
I did a good job on that, but I sort of didn't finish it, I think, down there.
Yeah, I might put a little bit of finish on that.
Okay.
A little bit, because it's looking a little bit like two big lines, you know. So maybe some softer edges or something.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Other than that, I'm feeling pretty good about it. Yeah, good planes of the head.
Thank you so much.
You are welcome. Well done. Okay. We've got Charlotte. Did I skip you, Charlotte? Wait, I went to. Oh, was that Pamela I did? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I skipped right over you. Sorry. There we go.
Don't laugh.
No, what I'm laughing at is that you don't have a lot of information in here, and it still looks like it, which is funny. And
I had to make his hat bigger.
you're sort of
and-
illustrating my point of on a guy like this that has so much character, you don't have to put in every little detail, and you'll get him. So anyway,
And I like the palm tree in the background.
yeah, look, you get the ocean back there. He's like Margaritaville or something, right?
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of. But his hat got kind of, I had to use white chalk to get back into some of the areas.
Well, hats are a great place to really express and have fun and play with some line, play with some texture.
But you know, like I either have to be perfect or vague, and I'd rather go vague in the way the watercolor works.
Yeah. You know, I like what you're doing here. What I might say is, you see how you got this shadow right here on the side of his nose?
Yes.
I could see a very small shadow right under the nose. And maybe
yeah, that
something
might-
cast over there by the nose.
Yeah, that might work in orange, kind of orangey, purpley.
This is going to be too dark, but let me see. And well, all I'm using that dark is just to show you that see how it kind of elevates the nose off the face when you put a shadow underneath it?
Yeah, I can
Whereas
see
if you leave it out, it kind of goes, it just kind of goes flat. So that's why I
Put that in again, because I have to take a picture of that. I'm sorry.
I could never put that in again. I'm sorry. No, I'm just joking. Here.
Oh, wait, just, because that's like, kind of makes it better. Yeah. Yeah,
something like
that
that.
absolutely does a positive thing to it. Great.
Yeah. Stick a couple darks in the nostrils and you got it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. And maybe a magenta.
Yeah. And sometimes if I have something really light in the shadow, which ears can tend to be lighter in the shadow, but if you want it to feel more like shadow, I might take a little glaze over that. You see what that did?
Yes.
It just gives it, that's just a quick
Oh, yeah, that is sticking out a bit.
5-second thing.
Well, that's not so
Because
bad.
there's nothing wrong with your piece. I mean, it's nice. Put sand. You need some sand in this piece. Because
Yeah,
I can't think of anything else. What was that?
I'm going to add sand. It's just a different way of painting that I paint, how I paint. I just can't paint perfect, anymore.
Oh, let's do some imperfect paintings.
Well, I used to paint the masters over and over again years and years and years ago, and I will never paint like that again.
Yeah, it's tedious.
Very exacting and perfect, and it was a good learning experience, but I don't want to paint like that. I want to be an impressionist painter.
Well, I encourage you to paint in your own way.
I never thought I could do this face anyway, but it came out pretty good. So I like
good.
it. Well, thank you for the
It is.
demo.
It's a nice
It's very,
piece.
very exacting.
All righty. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Pamela, and let's see. I'm sorry, because it says XO on your thing. I gotta rename you.
Oh, hi. Sorry. It's Michelle.
Michelle, that's right. I'm sorry. I always get that. Like,
No problem. I can be anonymous. It doesn't matter to me.
I just
Oh, I'm going to mute. My dog's going to start barking.
okay. All right. Okay, good. Look at this. You got good. My thing right here. Good looking shadows, and they're very realistic looking shadows too. Very light. Now, this is what I was saying in Charlotte's too. Maybe a little bit darker. Not that dark, but something a little bit darker under here. What you could stand to do is, if you put something in the core of the shadow, right around there, maybe in there, these areas, a little bit darker, just a little bit. I think you get more of a feeling of reflected light in there.
Okay, I see that.
Yeah, it's a small thing.
His
if you really
chin's too short, so I kept trying to figure out how to make his chin feel longer after
He
I
does
had
have a
already
long chin.
committed. I know, and I made it too short, and I think it makes all the difference in the world. But I can't
What you
really
can
fix
do,
that.
if you want to elongate his chin a little bit, you could rub this area out a little bit more,
Okay.
and then take a shadow like down there,
Okay.
and
Okay.
sometimes what I'll do is just add a little bit more light.
Yeah, because he just needs a little more length in his chin.
Yeah. A little length, and then you could put he's got that little scruff down there,
Oh, yeah.
little
Okay.
soul patch or whatever. Yeah. Right, the soul patch is here, isn't it? He's got a scruff then.
It's-
Okay, that looks
yeah.
good. Eyes look good. Maybe something darker in the eyes.
Mhm.
Maybe not the whole thing though. I just put my dark right under the eyelid. Just I can't get this smaller than this. Let's see. I'll get smaller.
Okay.
So let me see. Let me see. Wait. So if we just something up in there,
Oh, yeah. You mentioned that.
and it'll pop it. I mean, it's a good place to pop
Okay.
some dark. You might even want to highlight like, or something. It'll
That's
make it
good.
pop.
That also ages him. I felt like I didn't age him quite right.
And then let's see what else. What about some darks on the glasses? Now what I did with the pink is I just left it pink on the top, but I hit my darks down here below on the lower underneath rim.
Mm-hmm.
And then I left it lighter on the top like that. But I hit it really dark down below and maybe inside because the light's coming from here. So maybe inside there. And then just leave it light. Use this for your light. This is your light.
Right. I had tried that, but then it blended. It was too
Oh.
bad.
So
I
that
did
just
try
means you need
something
to let
like
it
that.
dry up a little bit more because it's still drinking the paint.
Yeah, and then now they became really dark. They were much lighter to start. But I can try that again with something when they're drier.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks good.
So, yeah, it'll get it. And maybe something dark in here too.
Okay.
It's the classic watercolor issue, nail your darks.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have to wait for that paper to dry up a little bit because it just won't get darker. Okay. There we go.
Thank you. I love him. He's great.
I know, thanks. I thought it was great. I saw him and I thought we got to paint that. That's it.
He's fun.
Is he a famous man or something?
He's been in movies. He's not a big name or anything, but I've seen him as a character, like what do you call him, like an extra character in movies.
Is this picture copyrighted?
No, we probably shouldn't put it up on Facebook because it's an art center photo. He's a model at art center. He probably wouldn't care, but I'm just saying I would.
Art Center would care.
Yeah, art center would care.
Yeah, they're pretty protective of all their photos.
So there's my problem is that I want to use some of these good photos, but I can't unless we just keep it amongst ourselves, So, all right, your eyes look great in this. But what's great in this one? Wait. This is
It's
Phoebe.
Yeah.
All right.
The leaf blowers in the background. It's not done.
Your eyes look great.
Boy, it was so hard to get. I think I drew them 3 or 4 times. His expression is so fantastic.
Yeah, really play with the corners of his mouth. He's got that. There's some dark in there, and you'll want to hit some darks right up in here, up and under the eyelid, and give him a good
Pupil. Rob, how big did you work? I mean, what size paper did you work on?
I don't know if you can see mine, but there's my hand next to it.
Oh my gosh.
Not that big.
No, this is 1/8 of a sheet again, but
Yeah.
I just didn't get the detail you were getting, and I even went down to a liner.
Yeah.
Got to practice, I guess.
It's this Henry's brush, you know, I just
I have
I-
one.
I just get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe. I mean, if you're wanting more detail, get bigger. But you know, this is great. I don't think you need any more detail than this. Just maybe this really isn't detail I'm putting into it. It's more of just I'm just putting a dark.
Works.
Yeah. And probably something up in here.
I know we talked. This is a portrait class, but the hand is what really gave me the fits. If you have a moment.
Yeah, let's go down there.
Yes.
So just hitting some darks there. Okay, let me clear those. Looks kind of nice without the darks too. I love you. Your eye area, the way you glaze the shadows around your eye areas is beautiful.
Thank you.
Reminds me of like some illustrations from some of my favorites. There's this guy named Barney Fuchs. He's this great illustrator from I think he was really big in the 80s. Really beautiful things. Okay, I like this hand. I like how kind of fragmented it looks through here.
If I can't draw the lines and because it's painting.
Yeah. Come in with some stronger marks on the shadow sides.
Uh-huh.
Define it with the shadow. So you got this big cylinder here. Give it some serious shadow.
Right. Oh, yeah. I'm
And
looking
here.
at it now and I can see. Uh-huh.
Yep. Works every time. The shadows.
You can see I was trying to get the lines in the hand with a liner. It looks terrible.
With a liner? Oh,
Yeah.
you mean these?
The
Oh, I don't think those look terrible. No, you just glaze some shadows right over it. I didn't even, I thought those looked fine.
The ones down on his palm?
Maybe that's a little dark.
Yeah, no, the ones underneath his thumb. Those.
So, right. So then maybe take a shadow over them
Uh-huh.
to group them. Because they start, when you put down individual ones, they look like lines.
Yeah.
So, and then what you if that doesn't work, take a little water, let it sit for a little bit, and then
Scrub.
maybe rub them a little bit to soften up the edges,
Yeah.
and they'll look like tones instead of lines. It just means you have really hard edges. That's all. Here too, I might see what happens when I hit a little halftone along the edge.
Yeah. Yeah.
It kind of steps it out into the light. So that's another way to do it. All we're looking to do is look for an intermediate step between the light here and the shadow there. You just need something in between like this.
To edge it. Uh-huh. To
Yeah.
give it the form shadow, not the edge shadow or whatever.
Yeah, just hit those. I do them everywhere.
Okay.
You could get darker with a cigar if you like, maybe. Maybe like for the shadow areas, like
Uh-huh.
just
Yeah.
and
Good. Thank you.
you're welcome. Maybe some warms and cools. Maybe some warms in the cheeks, cools in the beard.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to get as nuts. I kind of went crazy with mine, but I think that a little bit of that will. He's looking a little pale.
Yes.
Needs to get out in the sun a little bit more.
Spent too long in the line. Oh God.
That is very typical of watercolors, right? Because you just gotta glaze more color into it, because the water sucks it out. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you so much. And hey, Ellen,
Hi, Rob.
look at that red on there. Woo!
Yeah, a lot of red.
And I like your line work, especially in the hand. Look at that.
Thank you. Yeah, I that was very last because I was like, where's the hand? I can't see it. Just
Right.
drew
So you
it
just
in.
gotta
Got a little
pick a couple areas out and have fun with them. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's really nice. So now there's the idea. We were just talking about softening edges because they look like lines, but sometimes you want them to look like lines. Now,
Right.
now lines will tend to flatten out things or sort of cartoon things, but I don't actually mind that. I think it's a nice complement to all of the form things. So there's a nice handling of line in a piece where.
Yeah, without the line, I thought I had a little trouble with I mean, I was not trouble, but just the wet on wet was challenging. So
Yeah.
then going back and adding the line, and suddenly it seemed like some areas popped after that. So
And okay, just like warm and cool are a duality and light and dark are a duality. Well, so can edges be, soft edges and hard edges. And it could just be your intuition saying, it's too soft. I need some pop here.
Yeah.
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 So, yeah, you can tell. Look at these darks are hitting at the end right here. Look at this dark right on his.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That was at the end. Yeah. Definitely.
Now, maybe, what do you think about maybe some little,
Yeah, I can see it needs some more attention. Yeah.
You really got the look of his lip tucking in right under his lip there, though. His bottom lip tucking in.
Yeah, he was great. He was fun to draw.
Yeah.
He really was.
I think there's probably a little bit more shadow in this
I think
area.
so too. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
That's good.
Match the shadow.
You could hit a little bit of line under his eye if you want to make him look a little more tired, or
Mm-hmm.
let's see. Nice cools. This is enough cool down here. Maybe a little rose here in the cheeks if you like. Now, if you want the highlight to pop in his nose, let's say he's got a highlight around here.
Mm-hmm.
Then I would just come around it a little bit darker. I made mine a little redder than this,
Yeah.
but that'll make it a little bit darker. I mean, that's a little too dark, but that's
Yeah, I'll
obviously
play
too
around with
red.
Yeah. I see. Yeah.
But you wouldn't believe the nose can get pretty dark.
I know. It's true.
A little.
Yeah, that's good.
So
That helps.
yeah, that'll give it a little more form. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that. Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
Thank you so much. It's fun.
Yeah, you accented it in the end with the line work. Yeah, nice work.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Helen. And Dublin. See, now you came back is that in the end you did the line work?
Yeah, I did.
See, sometimes it needs to be sharpened up or something. That's fine. That's a great way to use line.
This is his younger brother.
So now he needs, so you're, if you wanted to age him a little bit, just push those lines. Corners of the mouth will age. Here, I'll hit it darker. Corners of the mouth, corners of the eyes, maybe hit some of these bags under the eyes can help. Some of these lines too can help a little bit. Now this is very normal to put this line right on the light side. Typically I'll save the line over for the shadow side and leave it light over here just because it's in the light. Probably not so much, and there's not a hard contour. Now if they were like around the ear, it would be all fine because there's a hard contour. That's sort of it's weird. It's the brain telling you that you need a transition between the face and the nose. So I might put it over here. But anyway.
Okay.
And same in the hands. So yeah, get in there and line it out and then paint back into it. I love it. I would love to work with more line in these things. So just to give yourself a little contour here and there. And then maybe a little bit of warmth in some areas like the nose, maybe a little bit more in the cheeks. Definitely in the fingers, fingertips too. The tips of the fingers would tend to get warmer. I could probably use a little bit of mine. I forgot to hit that in there. Yeah, but sometimes just look at your own fingertips, hold them up to the light. You'll tend to see a little bit more warmth, especially after you've been exercising or something. You'll see a little more warmth, a little blood circulation there. Maybe a little warmth in the lips. You could go cooler. Slide a couple small cools in the beard, a few here and there. Any questions?
No, I mean, I mean, thank you. Yeah.
I like the confetti in the background. Party. It's like my shirt it's like his shirt in the background. Okay, Delvin, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Claudia. Hey, cool.
Hello. I had a hard time with the hand.
Hard time with what?
With the hand. I don't think the hand is correct.
Let's see here. All right, well, let's see. Now, usually the problem is shading. You've got some good shadow. That's a good shadow right in here. And I love the way you're handling the paint. Very fresh paint. See how fresh your paint is in there, everybody? You got the grains in there. But if you can think of this more as a cylinder right here, I would think a little more shadow in there, a little more shadow on the right side.
Mm-hmm.
With softer edges. A little bit here.
It doesn't look too small.
Well, at this point, I don't know if you can really do too much about that, but
No, I'm talking about next time.
maybe add a little bit more hand out here.
Yeah.
Because sometimes
Yeah,
the muscles of the hand out
do
there
that.
are pretty big. That'll do a lot. And then I don't think it looks too small after you do that.
Okay. Yeah. I painted on hot press this time, so it's a little different for me.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I decided to try hot press, so.
Okay. But one thing I like here is that you're using such nice fresh paint. See how when you put it on there once and you don't rework it, see that? Very wet into wet. Look at all the, she's getting this thing called sediment. Let's check it out here. See how the bits and pieces of the paint, the pigments, settle down into the pores of the paper in here? That's great. And then look at these accents, these really dark accents. Wow. That's highly stylized. Boom. That looks like a lot of movie poster art from earlier times. Like if you look at the 50s and the 60s, you'll see a lot of really bold moves like that. I mean, a lot of people are looking at that stuff again hard. Some of those artists were a lot better artists than people gave them credit for. And look at your very light leaves in the back. I didn't even see those. They're beautiful. Those are nuts. They're too beautiful to... Those are absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, really loose and nice way to handle the hat. The shirt and the... I mean, you handle this. Your handling is great.
Thank you.
Yeah, your handling of the medium is no problems at all. I love your accents. You got line, texture, color, value. Your values are great. Yeah, looks like the hand was the hardest part for you. Yeah, I come around there. I might add some of your little accents too, like you're doing here on the sides of the face. Yeah, I think once you've gotten that, like what with the little changes we talked about, let them dry, and then maybe you think about hitting it with a couple accents.
Okay. Yeah, I think I can make the hand bigger by making it like a shadow down there.
Yeah, it'll do it. Sure.
Okay.
All righty, everybody.
All right. Thank you.
All righty, Claudia. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mia. Hey, hey. Yeah, that looks like the sky's in the background. Why am I thinking he looks Scottish?
It got a little too wet. It does look Scottish from here, doesn't it? Yeah.
Maybe it's his hat or it almost looks like a sweater over his shoulders or something, which is just fine. That cool you have in his beard is exactly what I'm talking about. You see everybody how that breaks up the flesh instead of just being red and yellow. Now it's got a little cool in there. It really adds something to it. So that's great. You got a little cool right up in here too, which I think is fantastic. It could have just been leaked in from there, but it's virtually the same color as this. Very similar.
Should have been around the nose though, so I could get like a little more reflected sense, light on the cheek area.
Oh, you mean in here?
No, around the nose. Shouldn't I gone deeper, darker around the nose?
I think. Oh yeah, I see a little cast shadow right here.
What about along the side?
Oh, you mean yeah, I see what you're saying. Maybe come back and define the nose with a little bit more. I don't know about too much darker though.
Okay.
But I might think of the shape, taking this
okay
around the shape of the nose there.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. This eye is fine. Maybe some whites in the eye.
Right.
They're not really that, but just a touch. A touch. I might just come in with a little white or something.
Can I get rid
a little bit? Yeah.
On the left side, the green shirt. It's too close to his face.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a big sweater on or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Can I paint it back, or do I have to lift it, or?
Well, I mean, yeah, you probably either have to lift it or use gouache.
Oh, okay.
It feels round here, and so what I might do is come back in with a little bit of shadow in here.
Okay.
And see how you like that. It might even be a little shadow cast by his face over onto the, like this would cast all this would go into shadow.
Okay. Yeah, it pushes it back quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe someone over here a little bit. And I treat those with really soft edges. Really soft edges in there.
Okay.
Maybe darker glasses. What do you think about darker on the glasses?
Okay.
I mean, like use what you have for the light.
Mm-hmm.
And then really come back and hit something dark in those glasses. I think you could really use something. Sorry.
Okay.
Not at all accurate.
I understand what you're saying.
And maybe something in here too.
Okay.
A little dark. And that's a maybe. I think it looks fine the way it is. I like your little red move there. That's cool.
Can I darken the background as well and maybe bring it out a little more?
You know what? I mean, I was liking the sky look. So I'll leave that up to you. That's really your call. I like what's going on, so yeah, that's more up to you. I think it does look fine the way it is, though. I do.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Mia and Diane. All right, Diane. Yeah. See how the darks in the glasses just really pop it out.
Hi, Rob.
Really frames the eyes and let's see, and pops the area out. Now, what do you think? A couple of little dark, little something in the corners
Yep.
of the mouth, maybe?
Yeah, it was still too wet for me to go. I mean, I did add some things and it just kind of blended in again. So I've got to wait till everything dries.
It's a nice wet into wet technique, though.
That was really fun. Yeah,
Good.
definitely. I had a lot of fun doing that.
Well, good. And then come into those dark areas, really.
Yeah.
Smack them. You got a good dark in here, so and you did that little orange along that edge. That's nice.
Yep.
That works. Try it. Try some of those in some other areas as well, if you like.
And I know that I need to, it got really mushy over in the hand area, so I need to go back in and kind of strengthen all that too. It just got real mushy with all the wet and wet going on. You look at that cigar; it just distorted. So
Yeah, some darks, some well-placed darks will definitely help.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the wet and the wet will do that. So there's a pretty good dark in the middle of the hand too. It's not black or anything, but there's a pretty good dark in there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I see.
I think that's fine. The shirts looks great. These look great. Maybe if you want a little bit more shadow on there, that
Okay.
like this is perfect right here. I do that down here. I'd bring it.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's.
I mean, I don't even. There's not much to say in this piece. It's nice.
Oh.
What about glazing a little bit of yellow or orange in there?
Sure. I think that would be great. Yeah.
Let's see what light green looks like.
Ooh.
Yeah. You might think that looks weird. And then I've been at the park where somebody's standing on the grass, like really green grass. And I'm looking at them going, wow, that's what green looks like. And I'll say, wait, stop. I got to take a picture. Okay. So whatever color you bring in here, let's say it's an orange or something, maybe even touch a little bit in there.
Oh, okay.
I could have done the same myself.
He's got that colorful lay on, so any of those flower colors
Sure.
could be bouncing back up into his face, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then for that shadow, I mean, that highlight, are you just going to work around that or?
I'm not sure. I mean, when I put the paint on there, I kind of lifted a little bit out with the paper towel, but I didn't get a chance to go back in there. So
Yeah.
what do you recommend? Should I add some warm?
Just some nice warm halftones.
Okay.
Warms.
Okay.
I just say warm because it could be almost any warm. It doesn't have to be red. Red's a little too ridiculous. I mean, it might look like a clown if you do that.
Okay.
But in fact, let's see what it'll look like if you do that. It'll look like a clown. And let's just give it a cherry on. There we go. So
perfect.
Your eyes look fantastic. They're so good I didn't even see them.
Oh.
You know what I mean? I mean, they look so good that I didn't notice them because they're so well. I'm looking for things that are wrong.
Oh. Oh. Well,
There's nothing wrong with your piece, really.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, well.
Very little. I have to pick to find stuff.
Oh.
Though, sometimes what I'll do is I'll hit myself a strong cool.
Okay.
Like see something like violet or green. You wouldn't believe how green can be in a person's face. It's so weird. And they're there.
I like that idea. It just makes it makes it more exciting, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as it's in the cool range, or let's say in here, I'm hitting a little bit of warmth. Like, let's try some opera in here. Look how bad. I mean, it could be coming off one of these roses.
Right, exactly.
So, yeah.
Any excuse to use opera. I was happy to do that today.
Yeah. All right.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's see. All right. Beautiful. Okay, beautiful. Wet into wet. Oh, the hand looks, wow, look, nice hand.
Thanks.
If anything with the hand, I might hit a couple, whoops. A couple of stronger shadows, maybe in here.
Okay.
But you know what? That hand's pretty darn nice. I like it. It's got a feel to it. I love how you overlap this and you come up and really get into that shape. Great.
Good.
Now, good handling of the paint. I would just handle the paint exactly the same way because your handling is great. I could see a little bit more warmth.
Okay.
Cheeks and nose. A little bit more warmth in there.
Okay.
You did pop some orange in there. I could even see it harder. Maybe reds and oranges up in there too.
Okay.
Let's see. See if this cast shadow could be a little more definite. His shadows weren't very dark in his face, but
Uh-huh.
I'm just looking for a good separation between light and shadow.
Okay.
Yeah. And see, as the cheek turns around and goes into this fold, you might get a little bit of halftone in there. And then I would put that in this warm color,
Okay.
kind of a warmish color. Doesn't have to be red or anything, but they're fine. The glasses is kind of strange. But you know what? It totally works. I mean, because it has that, especially in the way you exaggerated the caricature or the character of the hand.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I like glasses with a little character. I like, when I'm drawing loose, I don't put very much emphasis on accuracy. So I don't think I wouldn't fix that. If you fix it, it's just not going to work. I don't think it'll work.
Uh-huh.
Maybe a little something darker over the top lip.
Okay.
And I think the shirt looks fine. Flowers look awesome. I love the way you just very quickly and delicately threw in the line work. I love this line. You do this quite a bit. You'll put a line down and then you soften the edges with a little water.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see you're doing it here, but you do it in a lot of paintings. What do you think about maybe doing a little bit of that issue, the same sort of deal around his?
Okay.
Just a thought. By the way, I love all the cool in the hand. I didn't say that. I saw it, but I didn't say it. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, that's about my 2 cents right there. Any questions?
No, that's
All
good.
right.
That's helpful. Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
Do like those lines where you come back and soften the edge. Those are great. Okay, Gail. All right. Nice colors, nice wet into wet. What have we got going here? Let's see. It's not letting me get any closer than that. Okay. Looks like I need some darks. You see how now on the light side, you went a little dark, and I don't mind that. What I might do is come back and hit a little bit of something light here. Maybe pop a highlight. in there. You can do it with white. And then I would come back with a little bit darker shadow because he's a little dark. He's a little tanner than the guy
Right.
so we can get a little more separation of the light and the shadow.
And the left side is too dark.
Well, it's not. It's actually not too dark. It's just that the shadow side could go darker to complement that, so we could just see that. It's not too dark though. It just looks like he's a little more tan than the guy up there. Now the guy up there, he's also under these very big floodlights too, so they're washing him out. I mean, I don't mind this at all. These are areas that I wouldn't mind seeing some warmth. These general areas, maybe a little bit more in the lips. And I'm exaggerating, okay? And these are areas I wouldn't mind seeing some cools. Maybe even in the shadow side, a little bit more on the, it doesn't have to be that cool, but see how you slipped in that little cool over there on the light side?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. A couple of those down in here. I go darker with the glasses.
Okay.
I go darker with the shadow in here. A little bit in there, a little bit in here. So those are areas. So for value, I would just glaze in the shadow, like I said, just a little darker than what you had, and then for color, I would hit the warms and cools in these areas. Okay. Yeah, I could definitely see maybe a nice, some interesting color up in here. Good place for it. And maybe a shadow. Think of the high areas and the low areas. So and then the things casting shadow. So all these are going to cast shadow. You got a little shadow in there. That's good. These also would have a little shadow. And down into there. And then it could be that these are casting, because his head too might be casting a little bit of a shadow over there. So those are some. I might get darker in the eyes too. So, if anything, just right under the eyelids over the pupil, that's a good area to hit a good dark. So I can't get it with this. And then with the hand, of course, just like I've been saying with most everyone, or not everyone, but most of the people that had an issue, it's the shadows. Treat them like cylinders.
Thought I would mess it up if I did more, but I like the hand.
Yeah. I would just glaze the shadows in a little bit darker, a little bit more definite. And I did see something fairly dark right around this area. So I would look for that. Warmth on the fingertips, or warmth on the fingers, fingertips. Just the hand in general would be usually warmer than the rest. But it is kind of washed out by the light, so I certainly need to hit some in mine too. Okay. Any other questions?
No, thank you, Ron.
You're welcome. Thank you. I could see something dark down in here too, maybe. A lot of times when you get a shadow and then you get a crevice, being created by this flower next to us, you might get something dark down there. So, okay. Thank you. And hey, Henry. There he is.
Hi, Rob.
Hey.
Did you see
All
my
right.
happy accident? I dropped my pen on the face, right in his face. So there's some sparklings.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was
imagine-
I didn't even know that was an accident.
That was a happy accident.
Oh, I would. No, but it's funny because you do it over here a little bit.
That's
and
the
you do it-
part of the accident. It's just
Yeah.
copying on the paper everywhere. I just dropped my brush on the painting.
So you just start dropping everywhere.
Yeah. It was also on the forehead. I cleaned that up a little bit, but everywhere else, just happy.
Well, I think that's just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
on
pretty
the
typical.
cheek,
A lot
that's
of
the
watercolor artists do the splashing thing.
Yeah, it could be done, huh? Yeah, I'd see adding texture to the beard, maybe. But,
Yeah.
Yeah. The little dots are accidents, not my
Yeah.
intentional work.
Now I might actually put a little bit of shadow actually on the nose itself,
Okay.
just to make it elevate off the face.
Uh-huh.
It feels a little flat, and then so what I would do is, and then go around the highlight a little bit more with not shadow,
Uh-huh.
but like a half tone,
Okay.
maybe something a little bit warmer, like this color,
Uh-huh.
and that'll
Make it
That'll-
3D, huh?
give it a little more three dimensions, and then maybe a little more warmth in the cheek over here,
Mm-hmm.
and possibly even a little bit more cool
Mm-hmm.
in here.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the green helps too. Let's see, something in there.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
Just some of those. By the way, that hat is awesome. That is an awesome hat.
Thank you.
I mean, your hat is just to die for. I think the reflected lights and everything is just to really, it feels like the light is hitting here and bouncing off into there. Yeah, I'm going to use your hat.
I followed
Go back into my hat. But can I just paint from yours for a minute here? No, I'm just joking. Yeah. And then, so that's, I like the glasses, the nice and dark values.
Thank you.
I see the shadow in here, maybe going a little bit darker.
Okay.
Maybe. And here too.
Mm-hmm.
I like the blue you put in the eye, the little accent of blue in the eye. That's nice.
Yeah, that's purpose. I put the blue there on purpose.
What, I think it's because you're painting background and everything, but you do the accents. All of the little things like this.
Yeah.
These little things, you do them like expertly all the time. I mean, those add charm. They just add so much, they put a smile on people's face.
Yeah, I just saw Charles Reed portrait this morning.
Yeah.
On Facebook, it's similar to yours. This class, it's just a lady in Hawaii somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, look at all these accents. I like the way you did the flowers too. It feels like a lot of stuff going on without a lot of stuff going on.
Thank you.
All right, so the hand I think is fine. Maybe it could be a little larger, but I think the rendering of it is just fine. The shadows.
Okay.
I definitely would not try to make it look larger.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't know how you could, but there's probably somebody out there that could do it.
Yeah, I think in my drawing was wrong. I painted it a little larger, but it's still too small. Okay.
Yeah, that's one thing with especially a man's hand. You can get away with making it too big, even if it's ridiculously too big. So anyway, I love these. Look at these little darks. These are great. Boom, boom, boom. That's just nice and quick. And
thank you.
Henry, did you do those with ink?
No ink, just purple and ultramarine and ultraviolet.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well done.
Rob.
You're
So
welcome.
this will be the last class of this session, right?
Yeah,
I'll
this
see
is
you-
the last class of this session,
I'll
and
see you on
next one we
Thursday.
start on Thursday.
Yeah, yeah. Just to remind everybody, it will be on
Yeah.
Thursday. Thank you. Wonderful class.
Thanks, Henry. Okay, we got Toby. Wow.